So, I'll be honest, I am a little late, but better late than never, as they say. Now, before we jump into today's video, I would like to give a special thank you to everybody who reached out and informed me of this new update that went live here inside of Infinite Warfare. Obviously, I haven't been playing very much of this game, so I had no clue that this went live, and I still probably wouldn't know that this shit went live if it wasn't for these people that came forward and let me know. So seriously, if you guys were one of the people that let me know of this, thank you. But with that introduction out of the way, let's get into it. So I've already stated the obvious. A new update went live earlier this week for Infinite Warfare, and some of it is for the better. It does change the gameplay to make it a better experience, while other things kind of left me scratching my head and wondering why this stuff is happening now. I'm of course referring to the prototype labs and the new weapon variants that were added inside of Infinite Warfare. So if you guys are like me and you stayed away from the game since World War II came out, or once Infinite Warfare kind of died off, you just moved on and didn't know this, now inside of the prototype labs, you can now craft certain variants that throughout the course of Infinite Warfare's life cycle was only accessible through supply drops, and it's quite a few of them. So if you guys were one of those people that wanted to craft any variant of the Xeon or Xeon, the RVN, the UDM, or if you wanted to get your hands on the NV4 Prosperity or EBR 800 Equilibrium, all this stuff is now accessible and craftable inside of the prototype labs. And it kind of sucks because the Prosperity and the Stalker of all weapons were the most sought after guns that were locked behind supply drops, and now almost a full month after the release of World War II, they are finally craftable, which makes me wonder, why the hell did they wait until now to make these weapons redeemable by salvage? Also, another thing, even though the Stalker and a lot of these other guns that were previously locked behind supply drops are now craftable, unfortunately the Quartermaster collection has not vanished. It is still filled with the Auger Furies and the 2187 salvos, so in case you guys were after those two guns, those are still locked behind the Quartermaster collection. However, some new variants were also added into the game as well. Now believe me when I say none of these weapons are innovative or creative in any sense of the word. They all do exactly what the Volt Corruption does, but just applied to a different gun. Now, the only new variant that I noticed is the Trek 50 Obliterator, which works a lot like the G-Rail Fusillade. Upon getting a kill, that kill will explode, causing nearby damage. We also got the Raw Thug, the RVN Quickerine, the Type 2, just the Type 2, the K-Bar Bounty, and the R3K Wreckage. Again, all of these variants do exactly what the Volt Corruption does, only applied to different guns. So now you got a little bit of variety in earning that extra amount of XP. So in case you don't like the Volk, you can now go over and use the R3K, the K-Bar, the Type 2, or even the Raw. But of course, me being the wonderful person that I am, I poke a lot of holes in this. One, why are you giving this trait to a K-Bar, which is already used enough inside of multiplayer? Two, why are all these variants given the exact same epic trait? Let's throw lethargy out of the way, or being lazy, and take into consideration how useful this really is this late inside of Infinite Warfare. If you really still need these variants for that extra amount of XP, I don't really know what to tell you. I don't know, it just seems like they heard that everyone found out that there's going to be quote-unquote 50 to 60 variants added into Infinite Warfare, and they just said, fuck it, let's add in 5, and everyone will be happy. They don't have to be different, just as long as there's 5 new ones, the game will be okay. But anyways, let's move on to the next big topic. The 2187s have now been fixed, the zombies. So in case you guys have never played with the 2187s inside of Infinite Warfare zombies, there's a little bug going on where it's very inconsistent. Whenever you pack-a-punched it, it felt like your weapon's range and damage was ultimately nerfed. And this seemed to be something that was always hit and miss with me, but I'd be told a lot from people that played very avidly with the 2187s, and they always said that the range and the damage was nerfed when you pack-a-punched it. For me, it was always hit and miss, but that inconsistency has now been fixed. So whenever you pack and double pack the 2187s, they should now be working properly instead of having that little bug that would randomly go off. Another great thing that's finally fixed, but this is something that plagued the 2187s since they were added into Infinite Warfare, so for them to really take this long shows how much they kind of cared about the whole zombie side of everything. So that's very reassuring. Now finally, the bigger topic is the Auger Pumpkin Pummeler is also finally fixed inside of zombies. Now if you guys remember, I talked very briefly about this when I got the gun. It was glitched out for me in the sense that I couldn't pick it up from the magic wheel. Other people were able to, but when they pack-a-punched it, it disappeared. So no matter what, if you're like me and you couldn't get it out of the magic wheel, if you were lucky enough to grab it, you couldn't pack-a-punch it because of the little bug that was going on with that gun. That's finally been fixed as well. again, it's been over a month, but it has now been fixed, and you can now grab it out of the magic wheel, and you can also pack-a-punch it, which is great. Now, if you guys don't remember, unfortunately, the only way to get your hands on this weapon was through the Halloween seasonal event, so if you missed out on it, unfortunately, you can't grab it, but if you didn't grab it, then you're not really missing out on too much. This weapon's ultimately kind of a little bit of a disappointment. It's really more of a multiplayer's gun. Inside of zombies, you burn through ammunition like crazy, and it really doesn't have a leg up above the basic Auger. At least I don't think so. And unfortunately, a problem that has always plagued the Auger, regardless of whatever variant you have, is its ammunition. And unfortunately, the Pumpkin Pummeler is no different. You have 150 rounds in the mag packed for the first time. If you pack it a second time, you're only given 187. That's a 37 round difference in your mag. And I believe in your cash, you're given an extra mag or two than what you would have had just single packed. And unfortunately, that's not enough, especially with the Pumpkin Pummeler, where it's always firing at maximum speed. And the Auger has always felt like a LMG that's centered around gaining points in actual killing. So I still feel like the ammunition, regardless of what variant you have, is a nerf, and you just feel that ammo restraint just a little bit more with the Pumpkin Pummeler, since it's always firing at maximum speed. But again, you're not really missing out on anything special. It's just kind of a disappointment inside of zombies. If you're a multiplayer player, someone that really thrives inside of the multiplayer here in Infinite Warfare, then it's a gun that you may be missing out on when it comes to that shorter time to kill. But here inside of zombies, it's really nothing special, and it's nothing that you should beat yourself up about if you didn't manage to get your hands on it. But anyways, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Have you guys still been playing Infinite Warfare? Have you guys gotten bored of it? Have you guys moved on to other things? I've been getting asked a lot lately to play some Fortnite, so we might see some of that on the channel. No promises though. But anyways, thank you guys so much for your time. And like always, I'll see you guys all later.